Not overemphasize the need of fathers having a voice in their children's life. So picture this, in the Bible, when Jesus was getting baptized, a voice came from heaven, and the voice said that this is my son with whom I'm well pleased. You can imagine that proud moment when Jesus was like, my father is introducing me to the world. Welcome to my channel once again, and we continue with our conversation. And today's conversation is about intentional fatherhood. We are going to continue from where we left last time. We had a very interesting conversation about intentional fatherhood, and our conversation was just calling the fathers to attention on something that is very important. And this is the matter that we need their hands on in everything and every matter that is pertaining to their sons. And particularly the sons, because I don't know how, but somehow automatically it comes automatically and naturally the daughter's right. But today we want to look at both genders, that is the girl and the boy child. And we are talking about the voice of the father. And when we are talking about the voice of the father, I want to remind us that I know you've done all that, I know you've prayed about your children, but also, if I may ask, when is the last time you told your child who they are? Remember, we are living in a world that is having a lot of identity crisis. You're having children who are feeling that they should be the other gender, the transgender issues that are looming in the society. And one of the things that is attributed to that is an identity crisis. You give birth to a child, a son, he's looking handsome, and at some point he feels like, no, I should change my gender to associate myself as a girl, And if I may pause and ask, when is the last time that you looked at your son and you told him how handsome he is? When is the last time that you looked at your son straight into his eyes and you told him how proud you are and how handsome he is? It looks like a taboo in the African tradition, if I may say so, and for a father to tell his son that he's handsome. I don't know how many of you grew up with their fathers telling them how handsome they looked. For the girls, I'll be very sincere and honest. It happened oftentimes. The father was proud of you. You look smart, my girl. When you dress up nicely, your father is there to appreciate you. I remember my father would do that oftentimes. But then I pause and ask myself, how many fathers are doing the same with their son? Now, your child is going to hear so many voices before they get to adulthood, where probably now they start having a voice of their own. And I think one of the most important things in this life is to have them hear the voice of the father speaking into their lives. And I'm looking at a scenario whereby your children perform, or they don't even perform in school, but you constantly remind them that they are the best. You constantly remind them that you are proud of them just as they are, with whatever grades they have. I remember one child was really struggling in school. We discussed with the teachers, and one thing the child was saying, or the son was saying, it was an elderly son now, he was already grown up, is that when they went back home, the father reminded the son that, remember, no matter how the world categorizes your intelligence, I still believe you are the best son. And one thing he says is that aspect alone challenged him to become who he is today. A very intelligent man, a very wonderful man. And I also happened to listen to another speaker who said that when he was in school, because he was very talkative, and whenever the parent was called because the child was making noise, sometimes even the child was suspended. He would definitely correct the son, because you see, again, you cannot fail to discipline the child. But the father always affirmed him that your voice is a blessing and your voice is a gift that God has given you. Even when maybe no one else could identify that the gift that he had was through speaking. This man today is a very wonderful public speaker. He's speaking in international platforms. Like, what is the voice that your child has? Let me tell you, we cannot overemphasize the need of fathers having a voice in their children's life. So picture this, in the Bible, when Jesus was getting baptized, a voice came from heaven, And the voice said that this is my son with whom I'm well pleased. You can imagine that proud moment when Jesus was like, my father is introducing me to the world. So I sit and ask myself, how beautiful it is when the father is the one who is giving the child the voice that they have in this world. When the father is the one who is affirming the child that this is who you are. So very, very important. As an intentional father, pick the words that you're going to speak to your child. Affirm your child. Make your child your friend. Let him know that you're very proud of him. Let him know that you're not only proud of him for his achievements, but even for who he is. Personally for who he is. So I was thinking about Jesus, and he was like, oh guys, that's my father talking. And I imagine how many fathers today are doing this to their sons, are doing this to their daughters. Be intentional. Sit down with them. Tell them who you know them to be, because you have known them from birth. Tell them the positive things you have identified. You can imagine how proud Jesus was about his father, because he's the one who introduced him to the world. And actually, we know that Jesus is God's beloved child. We cannot define him otherwise. He is the one who told us who he is. So the same way, introduce your children to the world through your voice. Let them carry your voice. You probably didn't have your fathers do this. You probably never even sat at any moment with your father down for him to tell you who he thinks you are, for him to affirm you what he sees you to become. But now it's time to break the cycles. It's time to break the generational cycles. Sit down with your children. Tell them particularly, who do I see you to be? Affirm them, reaffirm them. When your child comes crying to you, hold them in their hands. Remind them that even if, we also have like bullies in schools, people who try to define others. But remind your child who you know him to be. Let your child know that this is who my father says I am, and it is very, very motivating. It's very encouraging that as I walk around, I know this is who my father says I am. So anything else, probably it may not matter so much to me, because he who matters a lot, he who is my father, he who cares about me much, much more, has already spoken a voice of reason into my life. So I encourage you today that please speak words of lifting to your sons. Encourage your sons. Let them have a voice of reason from their father. By the time they're getting into the world, by the time the world is telling them who the world thinks they are, because let me tell you, the world will also tell your children who they think they are. The teachers will tell your children who they think they are. Their peers, their friends will also tell them who they think they are. But before they are defined by the world, define your children and let them have a voice of reason from their father. Let them hear you saying it into their ears. Let them know who you say they are. Let them know that you're proud of them. They might know it through actions, but let them hear the voice. There is something unique about hearing someone say something good about you. So let them hear about it from you. And remember, we have said that Jesus is the one who was introduced to us by God. This is my beloved son with whom I'm well pleased. So I can imagine how many fathers would go out there and want to let the world know who their children are. Such a proud father, such a beautiful thing. So both your sons, both your daughters, let them know who their father says they are. It is very important that as a father, have a voice of reason in your children's life. So we continue with this series. Be an intentional father. Take time, speak into your children's life, and see how their lives get transformed.